Nico Collins was on Chris Long's The Greenlight podcast last week. Chris does a great job interviewing these guys, and I thought he got some really good stuff out of Nico Collins. First, I disagree with Nico on this one answer. He's wrong. He's wrong on this answer. He was asked, what is your favorite ball to catch from CJ?
What's
the best ball he throws that you're like, man, he just
deep ball.
Different. Deep ball.
Deep ball for sure. It's easy. It's a lot of hang time. It's high. It's soft touch. Soft. It's just dropping in your hand.
Yeah.
That I feel like any ball he throws, man, it's a soft touch. It's not like a bullet coming. It's not like one of those hard balls that it hurt that hurt your hand. You know what I'm saying? But like it's a little touch to it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like his deep balls.
Yeah, he can have whatever opinion he wants. This is how I feel about it. These are I power rank the ones that I like watching. First, 100% anything toe tapping on the sideline, especially if it involves CJ rolling out to the right, Nico running towards the sideline at like 4.340 speed, and somehow he grabs it. And if you're a Texans fan, you know that he secured it, but it looks impossible. It's a bit of a throwback to the DeAndre Hopkins toe tappers. It does feel like Nico more often is rocketing out of bounds as he's catching it. DeAndre was impressive at just being able to come down with it and actually toe tap it. Those are my favorite to watch. So me as a fan, I love watching those. 2, anything involving the scramble drill, specifically going back to the Colts game 2 years ago, where Nico has a really good feel, almost this ESP-like connection with CJ Stroud, to where, they drill the scramble drill and everything, but it has to go above and beyond that where the quarterback and the receiver are on the same page. But Nico, aside from his ability to find the wide open areas in the scramble drill, if it's not wide open, he's just got such a catch radius. And CJ's comfortable just throwing it up in the air to him on the fly. Sometimes it's when he throws back across the grain as CJ scrambling to the outside. Those are just awesome. And then, honestly, my favorite is anything over the middle. And these might be the least favorite for Nico Collins because the most impressive ones by Nico also involve him breaking 2 or 3 tackles afterwards. The combination of those two guys when they're in rhythm over the middle and CJ is hitting Nico in stride so he doesn't have to slow down. He can just turn upfield and it becomes a physics problem again. Like, all right, who's going to tackle this dude? Which of these undersized NFL players in the secondary is going to try to take down this galloping redwood of a human being? Those are my favorite to watch, but I can understand why a 70-yard touchdown pass is probably pretty nice from Nico's. I'll give him that. Angry Nico runs. Angry Nico. Okay. Yes. A late addition to the race. Any Angry Nico run, including the Colts playoff game last year when he almost got flagged for unsportsmanlike for hitting a defensive back out of bounds after the play because he just wanted to hit anybody and everybody. We know that one of Nico's big challenges in becoming a 1,500-yard receiver, becoming a bona fide all-pro, being in that conversation of being in the top 3 is just simple health and being available for all 17 games. Chris Long asked Nico about the leap that he made a couple of years ago in CJ Stroud's rookie year. And Nico would go on to talk about health being one of those big things.
Like, man, my first 2 years was like not being healthy, not staying on the field.
Yeah.
So it's a long season. It's different from college. You got the extra season you feel like, 17 games in college, you're used to 12, 15 if you make it that far, So for me, it was more just body fatigue, muscles, just seeing how my groins and hamstrings can sustain, 17 games, practices, everything. So I feel like for me, man, it was always those first 2 years was, groins, hamstrings, the soft tissue injuries, things that can really be preventable, just based off your routine, based off what you're putting inside your body, and just how you take care of your body, So I feel like for me, my first 2 years, man, was a year to learn, take, advice from Brandon Cooks, Chris Conley, Dola, guys that have been around the league for a minute, that's been successful with their bodies, just seeing what they're doing after practice, how they're taking care of their bodies and getting ready to prep for the game. And I feel like my first 2 years, that's what I done. I took notes. And leading to my 3rd year, man, I feel like in that off season, I took a huge jump. I was like, I'm worried about my body, my legs, hammies. I want to be able to be on the field with my teammates. I want to be able to be out there, the entire time, and work on my craft at the same time. So I feel like, man, after that, the 2nd year, going to my 3rd, man, that's when I hopped in, Pilates, yoga, trying to do little things, man. Really, my core, and I've really been sticking to Pilates and yoga the entire time. So I feel like that's one thing that worked out for me now, and continue to do it.
I like all of that. He did miss 5 games last year with a soft tissue injury. He missed a couple games the year before. The one thing I was hoping to hear is the sleep component and the diet component and everything else that happens away from the field. A lot of times as a young player, you can see the vets doing what they do and the proactive things that you do, but sometimes it's also what you don't do. It's the food you stay away from, but then also critically, it's what time do you go to bed? Verlander famously sleeps 12 hours the night before a start. Alex Bregman had some crazy sleep regimen. They get this drilled into their head, but sleep, we never want to believe it. We always delude ourselves into thinking, I get by on 5 hours of sleep a night, and it's always bogus. We're deluding ourselves. But that's one big factor that it's almost too good to believe at times for some players. So I don't know. I don't know if he gets enough sleep or if he doesn't. I was hoping to hear about sleep just because there's not an athlete out there who couldn't be improved greatly by having really good sleep habits if he doesn't already. Nico, in his interview with Chris, talked about him becoming a leader in year 5. It's weird feeling like a veteran, but he also talked about CJ Stroud's leadership ability.
CJ the same guy that y'all see from the outside looking in, from the inside out, man. I just feel like nothing changes about him. He's the same guy every single day. Coming in ready to work, composed. He joke around with you, man. He like to have fun, and most of the time he gonna care about you. No matter what, he got your back. Like you said, it showed. When Tank went down, man, that's like, you know what I'm saying, that one hurt. That one hurt like deeply. Everybody felt that. And 7, he showed his emotion, but that's why he got us, to lift him up. Like, let's go. We got to keep going, bro. You got a game to finish right now. CJ is a great guy, man. That's one guy you want to have as your quarterback, a leader, a guy that's gonna be there for you no matter what, have your back, and drop downs for you when you need them the most.
Yeah.
Getting that play for sure.
CJ is a leader. There's no question. The first and foremost vital element for a player to be a leader is for his teammates to feel like he really cares about them. And I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind how much CJ cares about his teammates. They did touch up on the topic of Tank Dell's injury. I think because you can tell he's really earnest and he's always trying to do the right thing. There's an element when you're an NFL quarterback and in learning and accepting that you can't be all things to all people all the time, and learning who you can help and who you can't help and what you can do in any given situation. It involves a lot of compartmentalization. And there's that just as if you're in any other leadership role, there's going to be things that happen that are devastating along the way. And it might be really awful to you emotionally, but there is a certain level of stoicism. And this isn't me saying men can't cry or anything else like that. It's just there's a time and a place for everything, and being able to compartmentalize and wash out any of the baggage from anything else that's going on the field or in your life. It's a big step. It's a big step, and it'll be interesting. I think that it's hard to talk about this without sounding callous, but it's a requirement that you be able to detach yourself emotionally in some ways. You don't have to be Nick Saban stepping over an injured player on the practice field as you're going to ream somebody else out or anything like that, but there has to be a little bit of a certain type of detachment.